So welcome to the PipeRider Community Office Hours for August 4th, 2023. I'm Dave Flynn, Tech Advocate, and I'm joined by CL, who is our CEO. How are you doing, CL?
Great. Yeah, super excited to see all the features we're announcing today.
Anything that you saw that was, interesting to you?
Yeah, so it's like this the refined like impact summary and then the lineage div is all really about showing those changes that it's most important, most relevant to you that you should pay attention to before you merge that pull request.
Yeah, so impact is something we're going to be looking at today. And I think you've got a PipeRider project on campaign finance that you're going to put political campaign finance. You'll be sharing that with us later.
Yeah, indeed.
All right, awesome. So let me just share the screen real quick and we'll get started. So yeah, August 4th. I'll quickly just share where you can learn more about us and follow us. So we really need your GitHub star. So if you haven't started us yet, please head over to GitHub and show us some love over there. And obviously all these other platforms as well. We're on X as well. I mean Twitter. So get PipeRider over on X. But something worth noting is if you don't want to contact us publicly on Twitter or Mastodon or whatever, you can always email us. So there's email addresses on the screen at the bottom right. It's just support@piperider.io. And if you've got any questions, you can just email us directly. All right, so PipeRider 0.30 was released today. And I think it's, as we mentioned just then, I think it's the most feature-packed release that we've had to date. So quick look at some of the main features here. The one here is Databricks is now supported. So this is something that people have been asking for a lot. So we know lots of people who have been waiting for that. So now's the time to try that out and let us know your feedback. And comparison reports also have Git branch information now. So this is something when you're reviewing a report on PipeRider Cloud, it's useful information. You might want to know which branch am I viewing a report for. So now you can see that information right in the report. And then as CL mentioned just then, we've got impact summary. So both on the CLI in the report and in the pull request, we've got brand new updated impact summaries. And something else which we got a user reported to us last week was there was a Windows bug for PipeRider Compare that's now been fixed. So if you're on Windows, you can go ahead and use PipeRider Compare again. All right, so the topic for today is it's not Windows, it's PipeRider and understanding code change impact in DBT data projects. So this is as we continue our path towards being the essential tool for what we call code review for data. And what we mean by code review for data is that we help with impact analysis when you're developing on your DBT project and merging code into your project. So we're going to look at how code changes in a DBT project can have an effect on your data, how that impact might manifest itself, and how PipeRider can help to identify that impact. So we're saying impact here, CL. So what I mean, we need to define impact and what that means. So what we use, our internal definition here and what we're using in PipeRider is any effect on data that's brought about by code change. So it kind of narrows it to a specific set of circumstances, which is that you're working on your data project, you're making code changes, and these changes are directly affecting the data. The types of impact you might see would be things like, simple things from row count and schema to DBT build time, DBT tests, metrics, and then data profile statistics. And there could be any number of these, like nulls, distribution, min, max, values, and stuff. So there's a ton of information there. And something worth noting about impact is that sometimes the impact is expected and might be desirable. And then other times the impact is not expected and you would not want to see impact. So like refactoring models and data migration. So it's important to know about this impact. And there are three reasons that, we think why you need to know about it. And the first is that you want to be able to notify people about the impact. So if you have downstream applications, stakeholders downstream, whoever that is, data scientists, business, anybody application, any downstream applications, You want to be able to, you want to avoid downstream impact, but if there is going to be impact, if it's unavoidable, then you need to notify anyone downstream what's going to happen. And then if you're pushing, merging changes into your project, you might need to get approval for that. And in those cases, you need to prove the scope of the impact. Here's the changes I'm making. This is the impact my changes are having. And you need that information available to prove that you're not going to screw things up. And if it's not you reviewing the project, if it's somebody else, it could be a colleague or somebody else on the team, they need to know that what the impact looks like. And in those cases, the manual checks might not cut it. So especially in situations with mission critical, data-centric applications. So understanding why the impact is there, being able to see that impact and then show the impact, is extremely important. What we want to talk about today is impact summaries and how they're going to help you to understand that change. So impact summaries enable you to get an overview of the impact of code change on your project, and you can use them as like an indicator that things are expected or that things might need further investigation. And these impact summaries are shown in 3 places, as I said. So the first is the CLI on the command line. So here, after making changes, you run PipeRider. Your modified models are compared before and after you made code changes. And then you get this kind of mini impact summary here right on the CLI.
Neat.
And you can quickly see from this, the added, removed, and modified resources, and the impact that these code changes are having on resources. So we've got potentially impacted, assessed, skipped resources, and then impacted is 2 here. And in this case, we've got 7 assessed out of 7 potentially impacted, and that means we've got 100% coverage, and we can see only 2 are impacted. So we're pretty confident that the impact is limited to these two resources. So at this point, you might decide, I want some more information than what's here. So the rest of the CLI output contains the link to the comparison report. There's a local version. And also, if you're a cloud user, which is easy to be, the report will be automatically uploaded to your cloud account. And that brings us to the second place that you can see this impact. And if you click through view the report, I want some more information. The report impact summary has more information about the resources that are affected. So you have an overview here. And then this is like what we saw on the command line. And then below that, you have each resource. And each resource has its own tab as well. So you can see there's the main overview here with all resources listed. It could be seeds, models, metrics, so forth. And then each individual resource type has a tab with resource specific columns and resource specific impact that can happen. So obviously you've got the lineage diff as well for viewing that impact, where you can choose the nodes that you want to see and also the kind of impact that you want to see listed on those nodes. So here we can see these are brand new and they were assessed, but these are definitely not impacted. Then we got the code change that we made and then the downstream effects of that. And this is all in addition to the really great data profile report, which covers all of the information. It's a full data profile comparison of before and after you made the code changes. Right, and the last place that we're going to see the code change impact summary is on the pull request comment. So if you use PipeRider in your CI process here, we have a GitHub action, and the link is at the bottom of the screen there. And this can be configured to automatically run. So when you make a new pull request or a merge request is opened, you get the same impact summary that we saw in the report with specific details to the kind of resources that are affected here. And the cool thing here is that these blue links actually deep link into the cloud report. So you've seen this, haven't you, CL? This is a great thing. You can click,
I did.
click on those and go directly into the report and view the data profile statistics. Yeah. So it's really ties it in completely. So if somebody's a team member is reviewing your pull request, they see this overview, they understand the kind of the overview of the impact here. They can get the specific changes per resource and click through and see the full data profile. So it's really extremely useful. It's one of my favorite features, actually. So I'm ready to kind of see some hands-on examples. So CL, you said you've been working on a project regarding political campaign
Yeah,
financing. So
I did.
are you ready to share some of that with us?
Yeah. Right. So like this is kind of like a project or kind of the data that I've been playing with for I guess like 7 years or more, right?
Wow.
It's like because kind of money in politics is something like everyone should watch out for, and then it's like, okay, how who is actually influencing? So I mean, there's a lot of countries that actually publish those data, and then it's like a lot of interesting analytics that can be done. And then I think the US, like the money flow is also very complicated with the PAC, super PAC. But here is the campaign finance in Taiwan here, which we managed to get finally digitized version
Right.
officially a couple of years ago, right? So before they were kind of locked in a certain building, and then you have to go there and then get a paper copy, and then so there was a good effort that digitized them and then try to do some analytics, right? So now finally we got like the proper files, and then why not model them properly in DBT, and then
Right.
see how they look like. So so this is like we working on this on and off, and then but the data is really like the campaign finance is like how much each candidate raised and spent for each of the election, right? And then now today I was just joining the election data, as in like how many votes that the candidate actually got, right? So it's like a very interesting questions like the cost per vote, right?
Right.
So really this is just like getting that model there, and then yeah, but the project's on GitHub if you're interested, and then but I'm gonna just show you here. This is the new model I added. So basically it's about just calculating the cost per vote, and then it's really joining just a couple of tables, pretty straightforward. But now you got to manage in DBT, and then notably in this project, I'm also experimenting with DocDB, which has pretty interesting support for reading external CSV, and then also materialize into a Parquet file, which can be consumed by something else. So, but we won't get into that for now. But basically, it's
Right.
you can see it as a kind of ephemeral warehouse or non-warehouse. This is processing that, and then getting from your source file, could be CSV, and then do a bunch of things that we do in DBT, and then materialize that in something that may be used by other visualization tool or analytics tools. But here,
So everything's in CSV, and then DuckDB is using as an interface for that.
Just processing that, then go through all the DBT transformation logic, and then you can say for this table, I want to materialize as a table, but maybe for that downstream, you want to materialize that as a Parquet file. So that kind of you can upload that to S3 just within the DuckDB configuration. So it's pretty cool. Pretty
Awesome.
Interesting like repurpose of DBT, right? So anyways, but this is what I got here, and then let's maybe take a look at the summary. So like you see, like we added 4 models, 2 staging models that were essentially just pulling from external CSV files, right? And then 2 actual analytics files for calculating the total votes and also the cost per vote. So this is like pretty straightforward because it's no modification, right? But in this case, the PipeRider report is still pretty useful to show you something that we had not thought of. For example, well, let's look at this, right? So these are all the green ones are the tables that we added, right? Some of them source, and then some of them were staging table, right? And then you can see like because there were like the campaign finance transactions already, and then you can see they're not impacted into by this change because we're just adding table and then trying to join from the existing transaction table, right? Previous analysis was on like corporate contribution, which type of industry donated how much to each candidate. But here, really, what's also interesting that we just discovered is that the data might be a bit weird. because there were about 93,000 candidates across all the elections, right? But if we aggregate the votes, there are a couple of, well, not a couple of, like more than 10,000 like missing. They don't have any voting records for how many votes they got, right? So it's probably some kind of issue in the source of the data. So we're looking at that. But like, I mean, without this, it's kind of tricky to figure out that. So the right way to do that right now is really like we can create a query which finds out who is not here but here, right? And I create kind of a quarantine table that is the model we want to track. So as soon as the upstream fix them, that quarantine number should reduce to 0, which would be like the data is correct, right? So this is like ongoing, and then this is a lot more complicated because, well, everything is fluid. The way we look at the data, and then the source data changes, and then some of the dimension data changes, right?
Yeah.
So it's like the thing, like all the tooling that we have for data, how do we make sense of that? So I mean, DBT is really great, and then with PipeRider, we want to make it even better for people developing these data models, and then looking at what changed, and then over kind of your development process. So yeah, now you can also see, like, we can like navigate through into this model, and then you can see this is the raise per vote, as in like how much money is like the cost per vote based on money raised, right? So this is like huge discrepancy. Someone like spend quite a lot of money to get like very few votes, right? So but there's like, anyways, this is like the numbers you can also get from the profiling.
Very interesting. So I'm sure the government's happy that you're inspecting the data so much right now. All right,
Yeah.
great.
So yeah, so but back to kind of why we started this, really like how money influence politics, right? So and then, especially corporate. So there's a lot of things that you have to do to actually make sense out of the data, as in which group of company belong to the same larger corporate group, and then you have to aggregate them and then figure out do they put money in like the different parties or a particular party, or so there's lots of story to be told. And then I think we as a community work on this project for quite a long time, and then there were like journalists like use the data that we digitized before the official release, making some of the story more public. Yeah.
Sure. And just to tell everybody watching why there's a block on the left here where base is with nothing there, and that's because the target table here is brand new, and therefore there's no base to compare to, and that's why there's an empty block on the left here. If the table had existed in the base and in the target, or be in the code change and then the merge base, then there would be two versions of the table to compare here. I'll show an example of this in a moment, but we're looking at a brand new table here, and that's why.
All right, so yeah.
That's great.
So
Thanks for sharing.
We'll continue adding more dimensions, proper modeling, because like this came from like crazy CSV, and then just like gradually cleaning up, and then it's super great that this is now there's now like tools like DBT allowing that.
Yeah, very interesting. So I want to actually show a hands-on quick example here. We did some changes to PipeRider recently, and we made it so it's so much easier than ever to install inside a DBT project and get a report like the one that you're showing here. And it's something that, the first time we did community office hours last month or a couple of months back, we talked about the process of adding PipeRider, and you're still required to add some tags, and it wasn't as streamlined as we really thought we could make it. So I want to share quickly show an example project here. Let me get this up on the screen here. So yeah, quickly share a project here, and then add PipeRider to this project and just show how easy it is. So I'll prove that there's nothing in here to do with PipeRider. So let me do a quick search in here. So I'll just I'll exclude the the GitHub folder, because actually there are some files in there with PipeRider in there, because we have some GitHub workflows in there. So excluding those files, you can see PipeRider is mentioned twice. Once is the git ignore, because we want to ignore this folder, the PipeRider folder. And the second is the installation requirements. So PipeRider does not exist in this DBG project at all. So we're going to add PipeRider to this project. So this could be any project you're working on. If you want to try PipeRider, you have your project open, a feature branch. You say, I'm working on some changes here. I want to see how my code changes compared to the merge base. So to put, to how it looked before I started making changes. So literally the first thing you would do here is pip install PipeRider. It's already installed right now, but you would install it with the relevant data connector. So PipeRider is now installed. And then the only thing you need to do after that is run PipeRider compare. There's no configuration required. There's no initialization. There's no tags required to be added. Literally, you install it and then run PipeRider compare. And here I'm going to pass in the state modifier plus, because we want to see what's been changed in the project since I made these code changes. So what PipeRider is going to do is build and run the project on merge base, which is the point at which I made the branch here. And then it's going to build the project and run PipeRider on the code changes, and then compare those changes and output a report like we just saw. So we just let PipeRider do its thing. But it's easy. So as I say, 2 commands, install and compare. And I see we're running into the target phase here. So we've done the base, the merge base, and now we're going to run PipeRider on the target. And that should finish in a moment. Upload the report to PipeRider Cloud. So you get an impact summary, just like the one that we saw a moment ago. And then you get a local comparison report here and a comparison report in PipeRider Cloud. So if I click this link here and bring this up. So here is the report that we just ran. So we can see the base, the branch that we're running on here. So we're comparing main with the feature branch that I just showed. We have the impact summary. And then below that, we have a list of changes that were made on this branch. So we can see that we had 2 models added here. One model was edited. Let's take a look at the lineage diff. Yep, you can see that right here. So we can see the new models that were added in this branch, the modified model here, and then the downstream. So we know there's no impact here. So we got 1 downstream metric that's impacted. So it's really that easy. Essentially what I'm trying to say is it's that easy to get to a comparison report from a code change in a DBT project. And the only thing that's been added here is the PipeRider folder here. So, you can easily delete that, and then there's no remnants of PipeRider. So there shouldn't be any worry about trying it out, and you get so much out of it, as CL showed, as you can see by the report here. There's no reason why you shouldn't try it out next time you're going to make some DBT code changes. All right. So we do usually do a stuff worth reading section at the end. And it's been such a busy week, such a bountiful PipeRider release that I haven't had much time to do much reading.
I got a classic one though.
Oh, you've got one? Go on. We'll share it.
Yeah, so this one is really the classic Brad Vitter's inventing on principles. So this is like years ago. He showcases a lot of the nowadays a lot of the like IDE or web IDE, like you make code changes and you immediately see the results, right? And basically this helps the iteration. It helps you see the changes you're making. Yeah, thereby correcting the changes because you don't get it right the first time, right? And then so really it's similar principle in PipeRider, where we want you to be we want the impact of your modeling and code changes to be super visible and then allow you to iterate really quickly, right? So so that during that development process or even the code review process, you're able to see what you're about to change in like very, very little friction. And then that helps you, well, do the right thing fast.
Yeah, we're all about showing the impact and letting you make the right decision based on the right data. Definitely. I did actually. I want to share something funny. Actually, I did have something here. Let me. So I saw this on LinkedIn today. I think you saw this as well. I think I saw you
Yeah.
you had reacted to this. So I wanted something lighthearted here, and this is Joe
Oh
Reese.
my God.
He's a great author. Here you can see he wrote Fundamentals of Data Engineering, but he shared this on LinkedIn, and it's a page from the book, 100 Tricks to Appear Smart in Meetings, by Sarah Cooper. And it's really the kind of sarcasm and satire that I like, and the illustrations in it just make it so much more funny. So I mean, it's not a data related article, but it's shared by somebody who's, a data related person. And that's why I'm sharing it here. So, it's been a busy week with us, and it was great to kind of see this and have a laugh. And I've actually ordered the book. It's, I laughed so much that I ordered the book. It's, yeah,
Right.
I mean, and actually something I wanted to say was, it's not, I mean, the post is great. He's took a great photo of the book here, but the funny thing is, if you look at the comments, because it's such a type of humor, and the way that Joe shared it, it's not immediately evident that it is satire, it is a joke. So a lot of people are kind of, straight-faced replying to the post, and then, Joe Reese, if you go and check it out, I won't mention any here, but he's, he has some very snarky replies to some people. So if you want to have a laugh at the end of the week, it's Thursday, Friday now, definitely go and check out Joe Reese on LinkedIn, and the book's on Amazon if you want to buy it. I mean, we're not affiliated with it, but if you want a good laugh, definitely check it out. It's gave me a laugh this morning.
This will make you 25% happier this week.
Oh yeah, one in four people will be happier after reading this post for sure. All right.
All right, cheers.
All right, cheers, CL. Thanks for watching, everyone. So we'll try and do these every with every release of PipeRider. So look out for the notifications in the DBT Slack, in our Discord, for when the next office hours is coming up. And feel free to join as well. I want to say that don't be afraid about joining, because we want to hear from users. And even if you join and sit in the back and stay on mute, we don't care. We want people to get involved and come and join the PipeRider community office hours. And we'll see you next time. Thanks, CL.
Thanks, Dave.